Today I'm showing you how to make sourdough discard pancakes, and they are so good. Last week I fed my sourdough starter and I never ended up making the bread that I was planning to make, so I've got leftover sourdough starter lying around, and sourdough discard pancakes are a great way to use it up. Here's how to make them. To a mixing bowl, add 28 grams or 2 tablespoons of melted butter, then add 12 grams or 1 tablespoon of white sugar. Then mix those ingredients together with a whisk or a fork. Then you'll need to add 1 medium egg, which is around 50 grams by weight. If you want to weigh out your egg, go for it, but I always just throw in 1 egg. Then add 4 grams or 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then get out the whisk again and whisk everything together, thoroughly beating the egg into the rest of the ingredients. You're going to be adding milk next, and I find it's a little bit more difficult to beat the egg in once the milk is added, so add it first. And then add 235 grams of whole milk, which is exactly 1 cup. And then you're going to be adding your sourdough starter or your discard. You can use an active sourdough starter that's risen to double in size, or you can use discard, which is starter that's basically gone past its prime. It's doubled in size and fallen back down again, and it's often something that's been sitting around in the fridge for a while. We'll be using baking powder to make these pancakes rise, so use either active sourdough starter or discard. Either way is fine. Then you can pop the rest of the sourdough starter jar back into the fridge, and it's ready for you the next time you want to bake bread. Now that all the liquid ingredients are in the bowl, go ahead and whisk it thoroughly. Pancakes can become unpleasantly chewy and dense if you mix them too much, but that only matters after you add the flour. So while there's no flour in this liquid mixture right now, you can mix it to your heart's content. Get rid of all those clumps and mix everything together thoroughly. Now it's time to add the dry ingredients. This recipe calls for 145 grams of all-purpose flour. Just add half of that now, and you'll add the other half later. After the flour, add 14 grams or 1 tablespoon of baking powder, not baking soda, and then add 3 grams or a half a teaspoon of salt. I'm using kosher salt. Now whisk the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients until pretty much all of the flour is dissolved and you get rid of any dry clumps of flour, and then it's time to add the rest of the flour because the pancake batter is too thin right now. Once you add the rest of the flour, the pancake batter should come together to the perfect consistency. Being careful not to overmix, bring the pancake batter together with a whisk or with a fork just until all of those dry bits of flour are gone and your batter looks something like this. The batter should fall down like a ribbon off of the whisk when you lift it up in the air. Now let the batter rest for 5 to 10 minutes while you preheat your griddle or your nonstick pan. If you're using a griddle, preheat it to 350 degrees for 5 minutes or so, and then you'll drop it down to 300 when you start cooking the pancakes. If you're using a nonstick pan, preheat it for 5 minutes on medium-low heat, then keep it there. With your cooking surface preheated, grease the top with a little bit of butter or oil, and then if you're using a griddle, turn it back down to about 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and it will be the perfect temperature to cook your pancakes. Once your butter is sizzling but not turning brown, scoop your pancakes onto the griddle using a 1/4 cup measuring cup. This is the ideal size of a pancake for me when I'm making them at home, but if you make larger pancakes, they'll take longer to cook, so just keep that in mind. I've made this recipe many times, and using a 1/4 cup measuring cup, you get exactly 9 pancakes from this recipe. If you need twice as many pancakes, just double all the ingredients to double the recipe, or just make your pancakes half as big. Maybe no one will notice. To cook these pancakes perfectly, start by cooking them for about 2 minutes on the first side. You'll notice bubbles popping all throughout the pancakes at first, but once you notice the bubbles start to form and then set and hold their shape, that's when you know the pancakes are ready to flip. You'll see here that a bunch of bubbles are forming, and one has finally set and held its shape, so this pancake is ready to flip. Once all the pancakes are ready to flip them over to the other side, being careful not to accidentally flip a pancake onto the wet batter part of another pancake. No one really knows how to deal with that, but at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. Cook them on the other side for about 1 minute to 2 minutes, maybe 1.5 minutes is the sweet spot. As long as your pan is maintaining a steady temperature, after 1.5 minutes of cooking, your pancakes should be golden brown on the other side and perfectly cooked through. As I was plating these up, I was a little disappointed that I wouldn't get to show you a crumb shot like on sourdough bread, but I guess I'll have to show you a butter and syrup shot instead. That can be just as good. I used to kind of make fun of those pictures of pancakes that you'd see maybe on the pancake box with a short stack of pancakes and the perfect pat of butter right on top. I guess I thought that no one really ever did that, but look at me now. If you've had pancakes hundreds of times before like me, I'm not about to tell you how to enjoy them. You know what to do. But if you've never made pancakes before, or at least never made them from scratch, and especially from scratch made with sourdough starter discard, I highly recommend eating them with a little bit of butter and some real maple syrup. I humbly submit that this is the way pancakes are meant to be enjoyed, and you get to savor the homemade sourdough pancake flavor that sets these apart from all other pancakes. These pancakes are sweet without being too sweet, they're fluffy without being too thick, and I think they're the perfect weekend morning breakfast. While some boxed pancake mixes make decent pancakes, this recipe just reminds me that homemade is almost always better. In this case, way better than from a box, and I got to use that leftover sourdough starter that would have gone to waste otherwise. I hope you enjoy this recipe, and as I publish this video, I want to let you know that this year I'll be making 52 different sourdough recipes and sharing them with all of you on this YouTube channel. So stay subscribed to the Grant Bakes YouTube channel to get some sourdough inspiration, and check out grantbakes.com/52 to stay up to date on all of these recipes that I'll be posting this year that are a part of this project that I'm simply calling 52 Weeks of Sourdough. I can't wait to share more sourdough recipes with you. I'll see you in the next video.